Greetings, graduating seniors and the families of the class of 2020. Well, we certainly find ourselves in interesting times. The class of 2020's senior year has been like no other in the history of Chatham High School. Schools across the nation have been struggling to find ways to appropriately honor the hard work and accomplishments of their graduates. Thanks to a wonderful community, supportive parents, and a willingness to do right by our seniors, I believe we have put together a program worthy of these amazing young men and women in the class of 2020. Now, without further ado, we will begin our commencement program. We hope our seniors and families enjoy the messages of love, support, and congratulations. You all deserve it. I now introduce Chatham Central School District Board of Education President Rachel Galvin to address our graduating class.
In 1952, Chatham Central School District, under the superintendency of Mary Dardis, held a contest to determine the district's mascot. Options for the mascot were submitted by the students to be voted on. Dick Cram submitted the idea of the Chatham Panthers. Muriel Faxon submitted the idea of the Chatham Scarleteers. She even had uniforms picked out had Scarleteers been the choice. I think we all owe Mr. Cram a big thank you right now. It's an honor to be a fellow Panther from the class of 1997 and to have had the opportunity to serve all of you as president of the board this past year. This year has not been without its trials and tribulations, but seeing you all with your diplomas is evidence that no matter the circumstances in our way, Panthers will overcome them together. Because out of all the lessons that Chatham has taught me within these walls at both 17 and 40, the most valuable has been what it means to be a Panther, especially one with a sturdy branch for support. Panthers, whether speckled, solid, or striped, are the best climbers of the kingdom. Whether leaping branch to branch or clawing their way to the top, Panthers always get themselves off the ground. However, Panthers wouldn't be able to enjoy the view from the top if it wasn't for the underlying trees. Chatham taught me how to climb higher and the need for a solid branch to help me ascend. No height is too lofty for a Panther to aspire. As you venture to your next journey, leap without fearing a fall. Falls are inevitable, and from them you will gain a footing no landing could teach you. And in case you do slip, the roots of this community are sunk deep and the canopy of limbs netted to catch. Know that whether you return to this valley for temporary visits or someday permanently, and wherever your next perch extends, you will find that here there will always be a branch to support you. As you graduate on the 26th, whether you are continuing a Panther legacy or starting a new one, know that this community of Panthers that has nurtured you from cub to cat wish you good luck, great success, safe travels, and that you find a sense of wholeness and fulfillment in all that you set out to do. So go forth into the forest and sink your claws in. Congratulations, class of 2020.
Next up to address the class of 2020, Chatham High School Assistant Principal Justin Forrest.
Hello, Chatham class of 2020. Today is the finale of your past 13 years of academia. I would like to first congratulate you all on making it to the commencement of your high school careers. Whether it feels like a major accomplishment or not, I can assure you that it is. I've gotten to make strong connections and build positive relationships with many of you as you have navigated your way through high school. Others I've known since middle school, and still others I remember you from your days at Mary E. Dardis Elementary. It has been a wonderful experience watching you grow into incredible young women and men that you've all become. My heart goes out to all of you for what you have given up your senior year. Please realize that it will be a year that none of us will ever forget. Although there have been 64 other graduating classes from Chatham Central High School, there is only one class of 2020. I wish you well and congratulations on graduation.
Thank you, Mr. Forrest. Now to introduce the Salutatorian of the class of 2020, Mr. Jeff Artist.
Last Sunday, I sat listening to Julia's senior piano recital. Considering Jules has been playing for 11 years, I expected it to be decent. But as she ripped through Beethoven, Bach, and Chopin, I kept texting my wife saying, "My God, I didn't know she was this good." But that's the thing about Julia. She's one of the most unassuming people on the planet. She never flaunts her talents, even though she's exceptional. When I first started dating her Aunt Meg, Julia was 7 years old. She asked more questions than any child I had ever been around. I thought, well, maybe she's just really curious, which she is. Then I thought maybe she's really polite, which she is. Then I thought, well, maybe she's really intelligent, which she is. So from the tender age of 7, I knew that Julia was many things, yet I never imagined she would become the young Renaissance woman she has. Beyond being a gifted musician and elite student, Julia is also one of the most dominant soccer players I have ever coached. She plays with her hair on fire from whistle to whistle. She embodies power, grace, vision, and intelligence on the field. But more than anything, it's her effort. I've seen Julia sweat and shed tears from playing so hard. I've seen her get physically sick from running circuits during midsummer double sessions. I've seen her get targeted by the other team's goons and rise to the challenge. I've seen her get knocked to the ground and bleed from battling. Yet she always gets up with a smile. See, Julia doesn't have bad days, or at least she doesn't show it. She treats everyone she encounters with love and kindness, and to me, that's the greatest show of character in a human being. It's putting your own baggage aside to help somebody else, even if it's just with a smile or a friendly hello. This is what will make her a great doctor one day, should she go that route. But whatever Julia does, I have no doubt she will dedicate her entire heart and mind to it. After all, this list of accolades doesn't happen because of just talent. Salutatorian, National Honor Society, Tri-M Music Honor Society, First Team Soccer All-Star, Class C Soccer All-Star, Varsity Soccer Captain and MVP, NISMA Cello, NISMA Piano, Perfect Score, All-State Piano Qualifier, Clarkson University Leadership Award, St. Mike's Academic Achievement and Social Conscience Award, Daughters of the American Revolution Good Citizens Award, Fred Olinek Memorial Scholarship, Secretary, Student Government, Class Treasurer, National Catholic Youth Conference, Altar Server, Hobie Leadership Conference, Senior Editor, CHS Art and Literary Magazine, Yellow Ribbon, SAD, Model Congress, Orchestra, Choir, Assistant Soccer Coach, Assistant Music Coach, Peer Tutor, Albany Medical Center Volunteer, New Visions Pre-Med Program, Babysitter, Big Sister, and a partridge in a pear tree. But see, the only reason I tell you of all these accomplishments is because Julia's humility would never allow her to do so herself. And as impressive as all that may be, still my favorite thing about Jules is that she is the single nicest person I have ever met. She leads with love and lets her actions do the speaking. And as long as she continues to do so, I have no doubt the world will reward her. We love you, Jules, and we're also very proud of you.
Dear Class of 2020 students, honestly, 12 years of schooling has built up to this day, and I realize I have no idea what to say in this speech. I know for many of us this year is not exactly what we imagined. I find it funny because some of us are internally thinking we've been waiting to be a senior all of high school, and now it has been ruined. And then there are some of us who are thinking, no school, no senior project, this is better than we could have ever hoped for. And I would say there's also many of us that are mixed. Since many know me as the girl who smiles all the time, I thought I would focus on why I think the pandemic has been an important milestone for us. The truth is, tonight, as we receive our diplomas, this is truly one of the turning points we face in our life. Whether our parents want to admit it or not, because in many ways the thought may be scary, we are adults. And with this newfound adulthood comes responsibility. And with being responsible and mature comes the ability to react to the changes we face in life. And if these last months have taught us anything, it's that life is unexpected. It is how we respond to these changes that will really forge our path in life and determine the way we want to live. However, I don't mean to scare us with the words responsibility and maturity, because while we are adults now, we are also at the rare point in our lives where we are in the in-between. We are the oldest teenagers and the youngest adults. Before, when we were learning, many were concepts. Don't lie, don't cheat, don't steal. As we move forward, though, we realize that we are truly the only people who have the ability to make decisions for ourselves. And this is the freedom some of us have been longing for our whole lives. I think the most important part, though, is not forgetting where we started. Our home, our family, our friends. Although Chatham's not the biggest school or in a bustling city, we have a community that cares about us. Should we ever need support and guidance, our family, friends, teachers, and community members will always be here for us. Just the amount of time and effort they put into making sure we had some semblance of a graduation is a testament to that. When I was in preschool, and some of us who had Miss Packet might remember, my Uncle Ben made me a papier-mâché unicorn piñata. I was so excited. obviously because I was 4 years old, and unicorns are every little girl's dream. And although everyone knows how a piñata works, I thought I'd give a quick recap. You are blindfolded and spun around 3 times so you are disoriented and then given the bat to hit the piñata. This is really all I could think about when I thought of a way to compare something to how life will be. In some moments, we will have no idea what is going on. We may feel lonely and lost, and figuratively, we may miss the piñata. And if you don't on the first or second try, keep going, because eventually, like our 4- and 5-year-old selves, we are going to hit the piñata and break it wide open. And as children, that meant getting Kit Kats, Snickers, and M&Ms. But as adults, what is inside is independence, getting a job, meeting new friends, finding a place you want to live, and having a family. The things we work so hard for in life, and it can truly be anything. Learning, teaching, taking care of others, they all build up to form the people we want to become. We never have to forget about who we are, and we don't need to become entirely new people as we grow up, but we are going to change. One quote I found by Rachel Hollis is that moving doesn't change who you are, it only changes the view outside your window. As we move forward in life, whether that be joining the military, going to trade school, moving to another state, or pursuing college, we will be exposed to ways of living we never knew before. It's an amazing gift to be able to live. All I can ever wish is for you all to be happy. Don't let life slip away, and no matter what happens, don't forget to smile and have fun. Congratulations, class of 2020. We did it.
Thank you, Julia. Jen DiIorio and Samantha McShane will now introduce the valedictorian of the class of 2020.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jen DiIorio, a member of the math department here at Chatham High School and advisor to the Shakespeare and Company Fall Festival of Shakespeare program.
My name is Samantha McShane, and I'm a member of the music department where I teach vocal and general music, as well as fill various roles in the School of Musicals program. Mrs. DiIorio and I are honored to have been selected to do the introduction of our class of 2020 valedictorian, Miss Heather Damia. We are proud to announce that Heather will be off to Dartmouth College in the fall.
Mrs. McShane and I both appreciate how much we as teachers have learned from this student. One such experience for me occurred last summer. Heather set a goal of earning a perfect 800 on the Math Level 2 achievement test, and mind you, that is no small feat. She was working her way through a review book of sample problems and identified some she didn't know how to do and some where she didn't completely understand the sample solution provided. Her parents called and asked if I would tutor her to fill in those gaps. I showed up in their kitchen with my checkbook in my hand and declared that if she taught me more than I taught her, I was writing her a check. Everyone laughed, but in the moment, I felt it could go either way. Truth is, we learned from each other that day, and we both had a great time doing it.
When I think of what I've learned from Heather, I think of what it truly means to work hard and overcome any obstacle thrown at you. I've had the privilege of working with Heather since 6th grade, although my first memory is of her as the Scarecrow in 5th grade. When I first heard her sing, I immediately noticed how nasal her tone quality was. The thing about Heather, though, that was different from other students is that she heard it too and wanted to fix it. She started with private lessons in middle school and has worked tirelessly in those lessons as well as school lessons to become the stellar musician she is. Surprisingly, this young lady who never had a solo in chorus because her classical voice didn't fit our literature, that young lady who could have easily thrown in the towel in 6th grade instead worked so hard that she became an all-state vocalist.
Heather has been involved in every musical and Shakespeare Fall Festival production that she had an opportunity to get involved in. Although she's an able actor, we see many parallels to the real her in many of the roles she played.
In her role as Marion in Music Man and Grace and Annie, we can see a reflection of the love she has for her family. While numerous faculty and students love Jeannie and Jeff, anyone can see the incredible bond the three of them share as a family.
In her role as Peter Quince in Midsummer Night's Dream, he is the director and writer of a ridiculous play within the play. Heather has multiple literary skills. She's a skilled writer and is a voracious reader. This year, she set the goal to read 52 books in 52 weeks. Now, we aren't talking simple 100-page short stories when we mention books. We mean standard novels and other challenging material. At the COVID break, she was up to 21 books in 12 weeks. At last report, she sits at 40 books in mid-June, well ahead of her schedule.
In her final Shakespeare stage performance, Heather played Queen Margaret. Similar to her character, Heather is fiercely loyal to those she cares about while also demanding a high level of excellence. The same is true in the chorus classroom. Heather led with a quiet confidence and was sometimes our harshest critic. When I would ask for feedback on what we were doing, she was the one that would notice more intricate details leading to a better concert program for all.
Queen Margaret is also willing to step out on her own and bravely blaze a path. As an 8th grader, Heather was double accelerated in math and needed to be bused from the middle school to the high school by herself to take geometry, an experience that required both independence and a fair amount of bravery. She conquered those high school halls as though she wielded a sword in each hand.
Although Heather has been in numerous shows, the quality that stands out most through all of them is that she's just happy to be a part of the ensemble, and she is consistently striving for improvement. She's done her share of small roles through the years, from a background dancer, spiritual ancestor, a pirate, to various Shakespeare characters. She understands that to get to the top, you need to put in time, blood, sweat, and tears, and that nothing is just simply given to you in life. She seeks continuous improvement through her own reflective practices.
In her role as Ariel in The Tempest, Prospero the magician set her free near the end of the play with these words, and so Mrs. McShane and I echo them. My Ariel, that is thy charge. Then to the elements be free, and fare thou well. Ladies and gentlemen, we present to you the Chatham High School class of 2020 valedictorian, Miss Heather Damia.
Hello students, staff, faculty, families, and friends. This is a pre-recorded video, so I would like to politely ask that you do not fast forward through this part. To those of you who are going to do it anyway, here's a very slow wave. Great, they're gone. Moving on. So, 2020. The year where everything went wrong. Maybe the Mayans made a mistake and the world is actually supposed to end in 2021 instead of 2012. I mean, I saw an article about this new tomb they discovered in Egypt, and all I can say is please do not open it. We really can't deal with any ancient curses this year. By the time you watch this, it'll already be 2 weeks out of date, and I cannot imagine what will have happened in that time. Every time we think it can't get any crazier, it does. But that being said, every time we think we can't take anymore, we do. As our time in high school draws to a close, I ask you not to let 4 years of our lives be reduced to a few months of quarantine and a single event in June. Do not let the sense of pride and accomplishment you feel be diluted. Because really, it's about the journey, not the destination. Maybe right now we are all about to graduate, shut up in our cars, isolated from one another and from the world, but graduation is not the only part of high school that matters. Remember all the days spent joking with our teachers, putting off assignments until the last minute, laughing with friends, and cursing the freshmen for walking so slow. We can't predict what the future will bring, and so I ask that all of you simply make the most of the journey. We can't ever know what's coming. I mean, who could have predicted this? We had no way of knowing that school as we know it would end for us in June. We had no way of knowing what would happen during this unprecedented time. All we can do is accept change as it comes and make the best of it. We may live in a small town, but to me that has never been a bad thing. It is harder to get lost in the crowd, and we can become closer with the high school staff and to each other. From all the individual help teachers are willing to give, to the above and beyond kindness of the custodial staff, to the inside jokes like Steve Silverman Day, Chatham has always been a place of closeness. Now, the tightness of our community has helped us through this time, with everyone banding together to support all of the students, and especially the seniors, as the rug was pulled out from under us. I'd like to give special thanks to the parents, without whom none of this would have been possible, and the incredible administrators who worked tirelessly to give us a celebration where we could all be together, but never wavering from their commitment to keeping us safe. Our Arbor Day celebration may not have been traditional, but we were still able to see so many teachers who taught us and helped us through the years, still cheering us on and calling us by name as we drove past. Here, we are not just nameless students, lost in an endless sea of faces. We can all be individuals, remembered in our school and community as something more than just a part of the class of 2020. Our generation is often told that we have had it too easy, that we aren't ready for the real world. I would have to disagree. Think of all the things that have happened just in our lifetime. In 18 years, we have witnessed everything from Hurricane Katrina to the invention of the iPhone, to the Great Recession, to the tragedy at the Boston Marathon, to landmark Supreme Court cases, to the burning of Notre Dame, to the rise of the internet. We have lived through years of political and social change as problems with our world are exposed and the people of our country and our planet try to fix them. Our lives have been filled with international conflict, global change, natural disasters, violence close to home and in schools, political upheaval, civil unrest, and now a pandemic. We have seen the world change before our very eyes. We have watched disasters unfold, watched repairs to the damage succeed or fail. I would argue that we have seen far more of the real world than many would have us believe. This world, which will soon be ours to burn, to build, to destroy, or to save. We are the class of 2020. We were always going to go out with a bang. This just isn't quite the bang we expected. I could talk about all the things we lost to the pandemic. I could talk about the second half of our senior year being stripped down to bare bones or having to do all of our work from home. I could talk about the loss of many of the Arbor Day traditions or the cancellation of the prom. I could talk about how our graduation is basically a drive-through, or how I am making this speech 2 weeks ahead of time to a camera, instead of at the ceremony to all of you. But we survived all that. We survived. The world threw so much at us and we survived it all. So instead, I'm going to talk about not what we lost, but about what we gained. We got teachers who drove to our houses to deliver signs and congratulations and kindness. We got banners with our names on them all over town. We got an Arbor Day unlike any that came before. We got the support and love of a community that stood by us during this difficult time. We got a parade in our honor. We got a graduation that will be pictured in history. We get to be remembered. We get to come of age in a time of turmoil and show that we can rise above it. We have been forged in fire and emerged the other side stronger. When the world opens up again, we will be ready to face it.
Thank you, Heather. Now, the senior team would like to send a final message to the class of 2020.
Hi, seniors. The senior team wanted to take the opportunity to say congratulations to you all on your graduation. We also wanted to thank you for your willingness to adapt to the changing senior program, your honest feedback, and your efforts during the school closure. I'll remember 2020 for so many obvious reasons, but really most importantly because of all of you as individuals and your collective group. I think you're all really special. I really like you, and I'm really going to miss you. Ms. DiIorio?
Good morning. Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu, founder of Taoism, is credited with the following: give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach him how to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. That is the promise of public education here in the U.S. and the reasons taxpayers invest in it and in you. Our generation is counting on you to carry the tradition and the flag forward. It's been our charge as your teachers to symbolically teach you to fish on your own without just giving you too many fish along the way. If we balanced it right, at this point you should be equipped to fish on your own, which is to say you're prepared to succeed in the workforce, the military, and/or college. As you cross this threshold to adulthood, you're now a full partner, expected to participate productively in our society to honor the investment of the generations that came before you and to pay it forward in opportunities for the success of your children and all that follow us in the next generation. I hope we've done our job well, and in turn, we need to trust that you will too. Congratulations to all of you. Mrs. Eager?
Hello, seniors. As a member of the senior team and as your librarian, I want to say congratulations and good luck. I know each and every one of you has the potential to make a positive change in your world. So go out there, make your mark, and make a difference. All the best to all of you. Mrs. Fisher?
Seniors, I've known many of you since Mrs. Packett's preschool, and it's been such a pleasure watching you all grow up. I'm trying not to cry. As a parent and a teacher, this is certainly not how I imagined graduation would be. But I'm embracing these new memories, and I'm really proud that Chatham traditions, however modified, hold fast and true. My wish for all of you is something that my dad wished for me at my graduation back in 1986. And that was to go out and to make the world better than you found it. And no matter how small or how grand those changes are, it's still better than what it was. So class of 2020, go out and do great things. And always remember that no matter where you go and how much time has passed, you'll always have a home and you'll always have family with us at Chatham High School. Godspeed. Mr. Pearson?
Class of 2020, this is a special time. You worked hard for 13 years to get here. You must be celebrated at a time when so much you look forward to has been taken away. But you must also always remember that you are smart, that you are resilient, that you are kind, that you care for others, that you are the essence of Chatham. Please know that what happens in the future is up to you and the attitude you have in facing the challenges of life. You have already shown that you can take on tragedy and keep going on. And I hope that you will not forget to let us know how you are doing. And if you have the chance to come by and visit us. For we will not forget you and wish you the best in all your endeavors as you develop your life and develop the person who you are. I would like to say goodbye with a quote by, one of my favorite presidents, Teddy Roosevelt. The person who succeeds is not the one who holds back fearing failure, nor the one who never fails, but rather the one who moves on in spite of failure. I wish you good luck now and in the future. And our final wishes will come from Mr. Stickles.
Hi, seniors. This senior class of 2020 is one that I'm going to remember for a long time. For me, it is important to make connections with students. And being on the senior team has allowed me to make connections by working with and helping to evaluate work from a large number of seniors. I have also had an opportunity to get to know many of you on a different level by being one of the co-advisors for your class. It is obvious, even during this time of remote learning, that this year's seniors are a very caring and hardworking group of young adults and will surely be missed. We wish you all the best in the future, and we look forward to seeing and hearing about all of your successes. So from the senior team, congratulations, Chatham Class of 2020.
Thank you for that wonderful message, senior team. I'd now like to introduce the class advisors for the class of 2020, Rodney Stickles and Carol Williams.
Hi seniors, it's your co-advisors here, Mr. Stickles and Mrs. Williams. We want to wish you a big congratulations on your graduation tonight.
Though your senior year didn't end the way you wanted it to, we are all still extremely proud of you. It has been an honor to be your class advisors and help guide you through the traditions that Chatham High has to offer. Please remember that you will always be part of the Chatham family, and our doors are always welcome. We look forward to seeing and hearing about all your future success. A bit of advice from us is to always aim high and shoot for the stars, because nothing is out of reach for someone that works hard and is dedicated. No matter what direction the future brings you, just remember, true success is in happiness. Class of 2020, congratulations and best of wishes to all.
Bye guys.
Thank you, class advisors, for your final message to the graduates. And now I would like to introduce Dr. DiAngelo, Superintendent of Chatham Central School District, to address our graduates.
Greetings to our Chatham Class of 2020, parents, family, and friends. I debated, as many of the other speakers did, as to whether to acknowledge the challenges that the last several months and the global pandemic has presented us with. I was on the fence. On one side, as Heather mentioned, you've survived an unprecedented historic event that we hope will only occur once in a century. However, I do also agree that it's not what defined your experience here in Chatham, and as such, we cannot let it detract us from what we know to be the most important reason why you're here, your graduation from high school. You're all here because you've worked tremendously hard over all the years from kindergarten to 12th grade, whether, like for most of you, you've been here the entire time, or for some, this is just your final destination. Each year in my graduation address, I try to accomplish two objectives. The first one is to be brief, and for those of you that know me, you know that that's a difficult task. And the second is to deliver a message that's meaningful, yet easy to remember. In the past, I've talked about topics like gratitude and believing in yourself. Today, however, now knowing what all of you have experienced, I think my message is about resiliency and persistency, two extraordinarily important personality traits that I believe lead to success in whatever you choose to do in life. I believe everyone has the capacity for both. It is only a question as to whether you choose to avail yourself to them in your life. Resiliency is defined as the ability to recover quickly from difficulties. It is your toughness, where persistence is your ability or conviction to continue a course of action despite difficulty or opposition. We all know that life has its ups and downs, and this is where resiliency plays such an important role. It is not whether you're impacted by an event, it is what you do in reaction to it. You can either let an experience defeat you, or you can use it to empower yourself. Find the upside, find the actions you need to take to get you through. Think in terms of the expression, the best way out is often through. That is where persistence comes in. It's not always about how smart you are or how experienced you are. It's about how much you're willing to sacrifice to continue. How will you be persistent? How are you going to take those next steps? Sometimes it's that very next step that leads you towards the transition from where you are to where you want to be. I have a funny story to tell you. Several weeks ago, as I took a break from writing this, I ordered takeout for lunch from Chatham Chinese. I returned to my office and enjoyed my shrimp and garlic sauce. It's the best around. I then proceeded to open the fortune cookie. I never pass up an opportunity for dessert. To my surprise, it said, "You will conquer obstacles to achieve success." I could not believe it. I said the timing of this fortune could not have been better. It was exactly the message I was trying to talk to you about, but in 7 easy to remember words. You will conquer obstacles to achieve success. So to recap, resiliency and persistence are 2 extremely important traits. Remember this when you're at the crossroads of a decision and perhaps even facing or feeling a little defeated. I'm urging you to learn to push forward, and you'll be so pleasantly surprised how often the outcome is so much more rewarding. You've done it, class of 2020. You have reached your final destination. Remember just these 7 words. You will conquer obstacles to achieve success. Go forth safely, be well, and I know you'll make us proud. Congratulations, Panthers.
Now for my closing remarks to the seniors. I think it is safe to say that no one could have predicted the events that have unfolded in the midst of your senior year. It has been difficult and disappointing time for all of us on so many levels. In my search for a positive message to share with you today, I quickly realized I would not be finding my inspiration from social media or the daily news. As I reflected on the last few months and all that we've experienced, it was clear that the very best moments for me personally were the conversations I had with our students, especially our seniors. I specifically remember a conversation that I shared with Mr. Forrest after a particularly stressful day. As we discussed the challenges we faced that day, Mr. Forrest made the comment, "At least we had the opportunity to work with kids today. I think that's the first time we smiled all week." And he was absolutely right. And I should have scheduled student government meetings every day. I think it was your spirit and positive energy that inspired me most. Regardless of the repeated cancellations or the bad news I brought to the meeting, it didn't seem to deter your optimism. Where I saw complications, you saw an opportunity for creative solutions. I will always remember the look on Morgan Simmons' face and the tone in her voice when she let me know that she had a plan for an Arbor Day celebration. After the plan was discussed, there was never a doubt that it would be accomplished. With the help of her classmates, the class advisors, Mr. Forrest, and a little administrative path clearing, she did make it happen. In fact, I heard several people comment that this should be a new Arbor Day tradition. You did such an amazing job that the district has even forgiven you for trying to sell the building. So, needless to say, the class of 2020 has given me one of the greatest gifts of my career. They gave me hope, just when I needed it most. I have such deep ties to the class of 2020 because my son is a member. I have had the pleasure of watching you all grow and mature through your experiences over the years. I clearly remember the day that Ryan and his classmates graduated from preschool. Oddly enough, it was held at the same Chatham Fairgrounds that your graduation is held today. From that point on, I think I can speak for many parents when I say that time got away from us. Wasn't preschool graduation just last year? You have always been such a fun-loving, mild-mannered, kind and caring class. Every class has their own distinct personality, and in my eyes, the class of 2020 has always displayed an uncommon amount of compassion for one another. You have always stood up for each other and for what was right. You consistently advocated for the underdog, and this is something I will always admire about you. I was so incredibly excited to welcome the class of 2020 to the high school back in September of 2016 because I knew you all so well. I coached half of you in one sport or another, and I was able to see so many of your class activities and concerts over the years. So, like so many other parents and educators, I had such high hopes that we would send you off into the world with a storybook ending to your senior year. Clearly that didn't happen, but to be honest, I wouldn't trade our experiences together for all the money in the world. It was such a privilege to have a front row seat to watch you hone your talents and skills and preparation for what's to come. And if this year has taught us anything, it's that we should not take anything for granted, not one day. Seniors, I want to thank you for the gifts that you have given me over the years and the lessons that you have taught me. I have such belief in you because I know your spirit, I know your hearts and minds. You are more tolerant, more thoughtful, and more informed than the generations before you, and we will rely on your strengths as you move on to the uncertainties that lie ahead. I believe you will make a difference. I believe you will unite our country again. I believe you will succeed where my generation has failed. I believe in you because you have given me hope, and now it is time to share that gift with the world. Seniors, I testify that you have fulfilled all of the requirements to graduate in the state of New York. Congratulations to you and your families on a job well done. I am so incredibly proud of you all. The next time I see you, I will be handing you your diplomas at the fairgrounds. See you there. Go Panthers.